feel a bit first. Okay, people, good. Hello, good day. This is part 3 of another interview with Heather Brown, aka Prue Halliwell. Wild, Wise Women Exposing Evil, www.ee. That's not the website. My website is actually angelaschashes.com, ANGELAS, no apostrophe in there, all one word, CACHES, CACHES. Obviously, it's a take on Angela's Ashes, angelaschashes.com. And just to say that we lost possibly 20 minutes of the last interview for lack of funding, which is basically I'm using the free Zoom app limited to 40 minutes per interview. And for, I think, £15 a month, I can get the professional, which I really need to do so that if we get really into something important, we don't have to be clock watching about when the recording has stopped. So if somebody could sponsor a year's Zoom, I think you contract when you sign up for these things, a year's Zoom at £15 a month, that would be awesome. And the other thing I urgently need is a year's professional Vimeo, because YouTube is censoring hugely. They are, backtracking my views, and they are bouncing videos back. I've only got one monetized channel, but automatically bouncing every video back, saying it's not advertiser friendly. And they're basically, they're well into the censorship things. So I'm going to migrate to Vimeo, but in order to upload anything more than, I think, 15 minutes at the moment, I don't know. But in order to upload anything substantial, I need to get Vimeo Professional, which is £5 a month, but you have to contract and pay up front for a year. So if somebody would sponsor £60 for Vimeo and a monthly pledge of £15 a month for Zoom Professional, that will help us to continue working to expose evil and end child abuse, and the personal stuff too. Let's not forget the personal stuff that motivates us to dedicate our lives to this. Prue has a GoFundMe. What's the title of your GoFundMe?
Find My Missing Son.
Find My Missing Son. This is where the rubber hits the road, it gets real. So Prue's son, Biniam Brown, was taken from her on nefarious grounds at the age of 6. And when he was due to age out of the care system, he was disappeared.
There's actually something else I want to say about that. What I have been told by a former Tory councillor who had a row with the Conservative Party. Now, when I lived in Kensington and Chelsea, I had a big-time feud with the Tories. I complained about Nicholas Scott, who was the MP, and I said he was involved with drug dealers. And I named the drug dealers Marshall Eppie and John Whitten.
I want to write these names down. Just slow down a bit, because a lot of the...
Well, they're saying they're reformed characters.
All right, so just a minute. Hold on. Who was the Conservative MP?
Nicholas Scott. He's now dead. He's been dead for years.
Nicholas Scott, but he's dead. Okay. And then who were the drug dealers? Are they still alive?
Oh, yes. They're called John Whitten.
How do you spell Whitten?
Whitton.
The other one?
Marshall Eppie.
How do you spell the last name?
EPI. Eppie.
Marshall Eppie. And they were drug dealers, and you're saying they were reformed?
They weren't just drug dealers. They were importing drugs. They were going to Holland, and they were packaging up drugs, mailing it to themselves at empty addresses around Earl's Court. I mean, these people were living...
Earl's Court was just something else. How did Princess Diana live in Earl's Court?
Well, because she worked in the nursery there. She wasn't mixed up with these little lives.
It was such a den of iniquity. I mean, I lived in London from 78, and I had an apartment till 82 in London. And Earl's Court was just such a sad quarter of London, you know.
Well, it was a very vibrant place with men
Yeah,
who
it
would
was
dress up like
exciting, but it was
Barnum
where
and
the MPs went cruising for what they called rent boys. They went to Earl's Court, or they went to Rent Boys Corner off Piccadilly Circus, or they went to Elm Guest House,
Nicholas Scott
or
was
Dolphin
on
Square.
drugs. So I complained to the Tory because I went to Nicholas Scott. Firstly, I encountered him when this friend of mine, Rosemary de Barra, this Irish lady who lived next door to me, she said, I was pregnant, and she said, oh, come to lunch with me. There's a nice pub down the King's Road, let's go, and you can come to lunch. I said, okay. She said, I've got to go in and see the MP first, because she wanted to sort out her housing. She was on the housing register, and she wanted to be bumped up the housing register. She wanted a mansion flat in Notting Hill. She didn't want something in an estate. She wanted to pick and choose what she wanted. She was called Paddy. We used to call her Paddy. And when we went that day to meet Nicholas Scott, she withdrew a whole load of money from the bank and put it in a brown envelope, and she gave him a payoff for him to arrange for her to be bumped up that housing register, and she got a nice mansion flat for herself.
Wow.
So when I had the housing problem, where our flat had been condemned, the last people in it had sued the council in Chelsea Manor Court, 12 Chelsea Manor Court. Last lady had sued them. Water was pouring down the walls and into the light fittings, which was cutting all the electricity off. And I went to Nicholas Scott and I said, you need to be helping me. You're my member of parliament. And I said, and Mr. Scott, what about these? Because twice I had needles pierce my skin, used needles.
That's what I'm saying. Earl's Court was just were you in Kensington? Were you in Kensington and Chelsea at the time?
Yeah, Kensington, Chelsea, Earl's Court.
Right.
So I had gone into a phone box.
Kensington and Chelsea is Earl's Court?
Yes.
Wow.
Oppie Kensington is Earl's Court.
Wow.
From North Kensington right down to the river by Chelsea is Earl's Court.
Wow.
So I had gone into a phone box and I had put my arm down on the shelf of the phone box, and there was a needle wedged up behind the shelf and it pierced my arm. So I had to have AIDS tests. I had to have HIV tests. I was pregnant, and I was my feet were so swollen when I was pregnant, I couldn't wear anything other than fluffy slippers. Nothing would fit me. My feet were really swollen up when I was pregnant. So I went out in these Marilyn Monroe-esque slippers, mules they're called, and I stepped on a fucking used needle. And we had the drug dealers, not the drug dealers, the junkies with needles full of blood, threatening people, we'll inject you with AIDS if you don't give us your money.
Yeah.
Yes. So I went to Nicholas Scott and I said, what are you going to do about this? And I lived opposite his office. So I actually stalked and pestered him. I mean, I was the bane of his life. He was terrified to come out of his office. He was running up the King's Road to get away from me, with me running after him with my buggy. Mr. Scott, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about these people?
Oh, God.
He would do nothing because he was in it with the drug.
Yeah, this is so often the case that...
So when I reported, I went to the Tory, because I knew the Tory party chairman at the time, and I went to Tory. I said, listen, this Nicholas Scott's on drugs. No, they said this is not possible. Ha ha! A month later, he's picked up out of the gutter at the Tory party conference 3 times in the 1 week by the police.
Oh, dear God.
Doped out of his head on drugs. He ended up sacked. So I was right, wasn't I?
Yeah.
And
I knew when I worked for BCCI, Bank of Credit and Commerce International, I worked in the Knightsbridge branch, but there was a funny saying that they never fired any of their own. They only transferred them to outer Siberia.
Like what happened to Aaron McMullen, where he wasn't fired, he was transferred to somewhere where the press couldn't find him.
You see, they couldn't fire him because there was too much dirt on them.
Yes.
They were so corrupt. But the point I was making was the manager of the Earl's Court branch embezzled £1 million. He had a gambling habit.
Well, the vet didn't do anything about him.
And all they did was send him back to Pakistan.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, let's press on because...
Anyway, let me finish this story because actually I then complained about the council leader who was Joan Hannam because she had been selling children when she was a JP, Justice of the Peace in Essex, and it was Bosnian Muslim children she was found to be selling.
Okay, wait a minute. Is she still alive?
Joan Hannam, yeah, she's in the House of Lords. She's Lady Hannam.
Right, you need to spell her name for me.
Hannam, H-A-N-H-A-M.
Joan Hannam.
Hannam. She was the council leader in Kensington and Chelsea for years.
What do they call when you're in the House of Lords and you're a lady? What do they call you?
Lady.
Oh, okay. I was social secretary for a while for Lord and Lady Adrian Foley in Marbella in 1981. Adrian and Gillan Foley, and they were always palling around with Sean Connery and his wife Michelle, I think her name was.
Oh, he's a terrible man. He hits women, Sean Connery.
Oh, let's not get depressed. Right, we've got to plough on. Have you finished that story?
No, I haven't, because I also reported Joan Hannam.
Joan Hannam used to traffic children.
World in Action, the actual TV show they made about her is still available. The master tapes are still available. She was actually caught by them selling Bosnian Muslim children. She was claiming that they had no families.
This is like Laura Silsby with the Clinton Foundation.
Well, she was selling fucking children, for God's sake. I mean, the woman's a monster. So I set about, Joan Hannam wanted Nicholas Scott's job. So I went to the Guardian newspaper because I had an American friend who was a reporter in there. And she published about Joan Hannam and what the World in Action had said. So Joan Hannam had to withdraw her application for selection for Nicholas Scott's job.
She still ended up in the House of Lords.
Well, because she's a hereditary peer, she ended up in the House of Lords. So she had to withdraw her application for selection. So the Tory party had the knives out for me because I was also, Jonathan Beresford, who used to be a councillor in Kensington and Chelsea, he said to me, could we co-opt you in because we want rid of Hitler in a frock? Well, Hitler in a frock was what he was calling Joan Hannam. She was Hitler in a frock. And he said to me, we want you to get rid of her. And I thought to myself, well, this is how you treat your friend. She's your friend.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
When I get rid of her, how are you going to get rid of me is what I thought.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have anything to do with it. So then the whole of them turned on me. And what I have been told here locally by Graham Holland and by Sylvia Fortune, who's now dead from the Liberal Democrat, is that the people who were party to snatching my son, Slaughter, and McAndrew, June and Mike Slaughter have said that Central Office issued a destruction order against me.
Yeah, they have a term for it. I came across it. Slaughter,
and my son.
Just a minute. Slaughter and who?
McAndrew, the man who I said, I tape recorded him telling me he sells children.
Okay, Ken McAndrew. Right. So I watched something yesterday posted by Kathy Fox, and there's actually a term for that. They call it D&D. It's something like disable and destroy or disable and discredit.
Well,
and that's the government orchestrated.
It's not government, it's Conservative Party.
All right, okay, well, a lot of the time the Conservatives are the government.
And they were not the government at
It's
the
a
time.
Conservative Party or whatever you want to call it, intelligence orchestrated. If you say to somebody in intelligence services, target so-and-so, D&D, that means discredit and destroy or discredit and that's horrendous.
Central Office, according to the Slaughters, Central Office told them
to D&D you.
they issued a destruction notice against, not just against me, but particularly against my son, who was 8 years old. So they issued a destruction note because they knew they couldn't get at me because I'm not susceptible to triggering words or this old shite. I'm just
went after your boy.
So they went after my son, an 8-year-old child. Now I've got McAndrew on tape telling me that politics is a dirty game. Your child's going to get hurt because I'm going to make sure your child gets hurt. Now this is Ken McAndrew of SIDCAP telling me this. Former
He's still alive. He's still alive.
He's still alive. He was deselected because I confronted Cameron's office in 2010, and Cameron's office ordered the local constituency to actually deselect him. And he was fucking raging. He was deselected. He said he was going to come back as a councillor again. Well, we've had another election in 2015, and he's not been elected. He didn't stand again. I mean, the fact is, they've had their work done for them, so they've ditched their own people, haven't they?
They tried to recruit you to get you on board to get rid of the
Well, that was Jonathan Beresford wanted me to get actually rid of Joan Hannam. That's right. And that was the first run-in I had with the Tory party. But what they were not aware was that I did know their chairman. I did know Brian Mawhinney. So I was running back and complaining to Dr. Mawhinney's office, and he was trying to help me, with all due credit to him, because when these bastards in Bexley have said there's a destruction order against her, I went to the Tory party's Smith Street office, hammering on the door. I went there wanting to know just precisely, how dare you attack my child? If you want a problem with me, you come and have a problem with me, but you don't touch my 8-year-old child. How dare you? What disgusting.
And they got him. They got him. They got him. They got him. That's scary. Look, I don't mean to be discompassionate. It's just I've got 130.
Right, okay, let's do what you're going to do.
The first thing I want to do, I'm going to go share screen because I found the email from Artie with the cost.
Be careful what we're putting online because they got my email addresses and stuff. They got my stuff when you put, like when we shared screen before, they were actually clapping their hands because they had got
I'm sure they are because but I'm not.
They saw some messages from me to you that you weren't pointing them out, so they actually examined the shared screen. So be careful what we're sharing.
Right.
But we might like to share actually if Shiva Burton is such a child advocate, the fact that I've had these fucking emails, these nasty viruses sent to me, obviously by perverts who are saying to me, oh, there are pedophiles all around you. Click onto this to see the lists of pedophiles.
It's phishing. Right, so this is from Arthur, and he's discussing Sonia Van Gelder, and then
I have spoken to
he sends me this on Friday. Arthur Cattell, there it is at the bottom, Friday the 10th of February. Arthur Cattell. He's sending me what Sonia Van Gelder has sent him. Look at this.
Is he?
Silent Warrior, Cross of Changes. This was sent to him by Sonia Van Gelder.
Yeah, but Cross of Change is a phrase that many people use.
Yeah, I know.
Many people who are not associated to each other use this phrase. I don't believe she's actually at all linked. She under Chris Costa has said to me, fucking good, set about this Shiva. Go on, sort her out, they've said to me. They've said she's a cunt. They've said she's caused dissent.
Who are you talking about?
Chris Costa and Sonia Van Gelder have said to me that this Shiva person is a cunt.
Yeah, but they're very good at grooming, you see. They might try to get you on side.
No, I'm not groomable. I mean, I lived with people who their life's work was grooming people and using people.
Yeah, I know, but We can still be fooled. I'll be honest. Despite all the question marks over Belinda Sabine and Charlotte Ward.
I don't like Belinda for something which is way before any of this. I don't like Belinda for something that dates back to 1991.
Yeah,
so
if it's personal, we're not here to be personal.
No, but I'm saying my reasons for not liking Belinda is nothing to do with anything to do with any of this. It is something to do with back in 1991. And Belinda won't even remember. I mean, I have the ass of an elephant, but I also have the memory of an elephant. And I will never forget what she did to me. And she had no business to interfere with me. No business to. She was brought by some other people to where I lived and told to talk to me. And I mean, I just really, I hate this woman. I hate her.
All right, well, let's keep the vibrations high, as the New Agers would say. And we've not got long, but we've done some really good work today.
You say that some of our stuff was wiped off. What was wiped off?
I don't know. I haven't checked it yet, but we did. This is what I'm saying to people. Please, I will put links in the description. www.gofundme journo Angie. Please, guys, I'm doing this with no benefits, income, no healthcare, just like literally managing. I've spent 10,000 of an inheritance getting this work up and running, and the other 10,000 in my GoFundMe is a gift in kind, a beautiful piece of art. I can't do this without support. I really can't. So I'd like someone to sponsor just to make this work. And I'm also putting a link in for Heather. Huh?
What?
I'm also putting a link in for Heather, but we could maybe find a way around that. But Bexley Council know where her son is.
Yeah, they do.
We won't release the information. We will pay a professional
hacker.
Yes. That's not we. Well, I'm not even going to skirt around it. If somebody steals your child, you will do whatever it takes to find it.
My son was taken away because I wouldn't do what the Tory party wanted.
Yeah. All right, let's just hit a few of these and tell me when it's 6:25. So here we go. Oh, that's all right. That's between Nina and I. So that's all right.
6:25 the time. 6:25.
Yeah, because that's when this recording runs out because I'm on the screen.
I can't see because the screen is covering my clock, so I can't really see.
Oh, okay. Don't worry about it then. Yeah,
it's 6:16 now, or 6:30. Okay, so what are we going to be looking
called Google Goggle and said Hampstead are definitely not teenagers, and they are definitely fun.
They're old people, like I said. When I went trolling their site and I rampaged around it and I was putting comments and they were going fucking mental trying to delete me, I said, you're all old people, for fuck's sake. The internet's not even real. You're all old. They came back at me. We're not old. How dare you say we're old? They are old.
Well, I don't get it's irrelevant. But
well, they're older than us, Angela, and they like to slate us that I look like I'm 70 and you look like nicotine stained whatever. But they are, and if you actually look at this dopey cow, Sue Shiva person, I mean, she has a cheek to talk about anybody.
I know, but let's not go back there. Let me plow through these quickly. So Samson God, which is probably a fake profile. Angie doesn't have alters or ADHD. There's my Ritalin. I already just debunked that denial.
No, I think you do have ADHD. I think you do have actually.
Yeah, you've seen me jump around, but never mind. She suffers from several cases of arse. Angie revolts simply everyone, and that's nice. Syndrome, which can be a very serious disorder, similar to Tourette's in some parts, except that arse syndrome is displayed every time the sufferer opens their mouth to communicate.
Well, that's Tourette's
down words or types them. A very sad condition that can affect blah blah.
I don't think they should be mocking people with Tourette's, because Tourette's is like people who've got palsy, but they can't help cursing, swearing.
Anyway, no.
I mean, I just, that's what Tourette's is. Tourette's
Yes, so they're
is
just,
involuntary
they're
swearing.
just being
And they're just mocking the disabled. I think that's disgusting.
It is disgusting. So let me see.
So now you see why I mock them. And also, with this Shiva, we shouldn't be personal. Yes, we should, because she's made it personal with me. She had no reason to come after me.
So then I complained about a fake profile. Oh, dear me, look at this. See, they say they're so, look at this. MA02667, go fuck yourself, backstabber. Yeah, we told Sandy Bergen about those nasty emails you wrote about her to Mel. You have some major bridge building to do, biatch.
Well, just fuck yourself. That's my favorite phrase, because that's what I've told them many times.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah. That's, I mean, they're copy. Well, Sheba is a copycat. She will copy everything you say. She will invert it and use it against you.
Yeah, the inversion thing that's why I'm saying it's demonic.
Well, it's psychiatric, actually.
Yeah, well,
because,
well, it's both.
It's basic transference. That's what it is in
Are you saying Sabina's out of an evil job or she's a liar? Sorry, I just got here, but I also have to consider ordinary ignorance. People overcredit themselves. Well, I haven't read the whole thing, but look, we'll just do a little cursory thing here. We'll just check this. Because I comment. Oh, here they go again. MA.
Well, my only
look at this. Look, and they've got Elisa and Gabriel. And look at the nasty name.
Well, they're not actually allowed to be pushing pictures of these children online. They're not allowed to be doing this if they want to be asking Judge Palfrey.
Well, I don't agree. I think Judge Palfrey's outrageous. I think she needs to be taken to task.
Well, she probably is outrageous, but the fact is that the law is for everybody. And if you're not allowed to publish photographs of children, these people are not.
You're not in a position to be preaching about fact-checking as you're the biggest lying bitch on the internet. By the way, have you told your new mates about how you used to beat the shit out of your own children and how now you do that to your grandkids? Liar, liar, liar.
Well, no, you're not a big...
Or have you been too busy weeping over your 30-day Facebook ban for harassing a vulnerable, mentally ill man? I haven't harassed
How were you harassing him? You were trying to help him.
No, I still am. I'm in touch today and I'll have an update tomorrow. And I've been in touch with Jake. And Jake's doing well.
I thought it was this Arthur.
Yeah, there's Arthur, but there's two campaigners were maliciously sectioned. Jake and
yes,
Arthur.
I heard about the Jake person as well, because I've seen, I think, a video where you're talking to him.
Well, that's a genuine comment here about Walt Disney. I'll read this now. I know that Walt Disney adopted a little girl. He may have had another girl on his own. I thought Walt Disney was possibly a pedophile. He definitely went with those types and set up children's places, Disneyland, a place to kidnap children. I think security at Florida Disneyland, they caught one sneaking a child out in a burlap sack and a foot stuck out. But Disneyland could be more a place to watch, point, scout for children, not meant to be. Yeah, right. So that's a genuine.
Walt Disney was a bit of a Sheldon Cooper. For those who know about the big, do you know about the show The Big Bang Theory?
No.
Well, there's a bloke called Sheldon Cooper, and on it, you have to watch it. You would just love it. You think it's hysterical. It's on Channel 4, and it is just funny. And Walt Disney was a very dark person.
Yeah, I've done a lot of research on him, yeah.
Yeah, because the story about Dumbo, where the baby elephant is taken away from the mom, I mean, that does this thing called triggering. It will do it to normal people. It will upset people.
Yeah. There's all the subliminals.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, I've done a lot of research. He was allegedly an honorary 54th degree Freemason.
Well, I've never heard of this degree.
Yeah.
I mean,
they
as far as I know, I will tell you a funny story. When I lived in Northern Ireland, I lived in a place called the Mount, and there is the Masonic temple in the Mount.
I've got to stop you here. I've got to stop you because we're on our last section.
Okay, go on.
We're going to do shows regularly. Now, Chris Costa's commented, and I.
Well, I've spoken to this Chris Costa.
I thought you'd like to hear and promote Ella's newest interview. You are behind the times, Chris. I shared it in the early hours. Bye. Right, sorry. And if I'm wrong, Chris, I'll apologise. You're welcome on the show as well. Let me seriously, Heather, you've got to just let me plough on. Because I'm doing these shows and there's so much intel that I'm not getting to these YouTube things that annoy me. And occasionally there's good ones like that woman.
Let's go to the YouTube things. Let's go to them.
I'm there and I lost it. I clicked out of it. I'm getting in a tizzy now. I'm getting ADHD now for anybody that doesn't.
I know.
Fucking
I know.
Symptoms.
Calm down, Angela. You'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm just like conscious.
Just be calm.
We've got 5 minutes.
Well, we can do another one after.
Not today, because like we've done 2 hours, but I want to do this. This is worth doing once a week. This is what I'm saying. We've got time to cover all of it. But now, for anybody that thinks I'm a liar about ADHD, I'm totally...
When are you going to have Bernie on your show? This Irish lady called Bernie.
Oh, Thursday, Bridie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Bridie, that's her. I'm interested.
Yeah, and she's learned the hard way how to get over the trolling, how to deal with the trolls, you know.
Well, no, I'm interested to hear her real life story.
If Hoaxted attack her, by Jesus, they better watch out for me.
Oh, yeah, I know, because of what she is. They better be fucking...
It's like, it's not okay for them to attack anybody like they do, but
no, it's not. But if they do attack her, she has
my God, they better watch out.
They are fucked.
Yeah.
I know what she is, and
she's a genuine, and she was Patrick Cullinan, who was disappeared, was going to represent me with my issues, but he was also due to represent her in court, and she's had to make a whole new plan.
I'm surprised the organisation at the back of her don't actually give her money, although I believe they don't really have much money.
Right, let's keep going. I'm going to unsubscribe from a lot of these YouTube channels because it keeps...
See, I never subscribe to people's channels. There's a
here we are. This one's stalking me again. MA02667. Oh my God, look at what they've got between Gabriel and Lisa. They've got a fucking pentagram, the bastards. Hampstead Children Case Investigation.
Well, it's an upturned pentagram, which
they say, what's the hold up on that evidence, love? What is it?
That's an upturned pentagram. The pentagram the other way up is not satanic. The upturned pentagram is the sign of the goat, which is actually the satanic pentagram. The reversed, inverted pentagram, you would call it. The inverted pentagram, yeah. Because I know about Wicca and I know about Satanism.
Okay, well, we're going to do this. We're going to do this once a week. Now, look at this. Snake Logan has subscribed to me on YouTube. Now, a lot of people say that's Ricky Dearman.
I don't think Ricky Dearman has any interest in any of this. I don't think he's even like participating in this. I think that Shiva Burton wants into Ricky Dearman's boxer shorts, and that's why she set up her site. I don't want to say it on camera, but I have information from inside of Barnet Social Services about these children. I had a private conversation with somebody because they asked me what did I know about.
Right, well, you and I need to debrief on that because it's important, because I've risked my life.
These children are not in danger.
No,
they are very safe.
No. Don't even start to say that sentence until I talk to you. Because I've worked on this. I've lived and breathed this for more than 2 years. And Barnet are as corrupt as fuck.
No. This person would not be telling me lies.
Right, well, we'll agree to disagree until I can talk to you on that. But I absolutely do not agree that they're not in danger.
No, because I know the person, so he wouldn't be telling me lies.
Right, unbelievably, we've run out of time. This is Angela's CACHES. This is Heather Brown, a.k.a. Prue Halliwell, and we will do this once a week. I'm gonna stop recording, or it's probably going to stop recording on its own. And then I need to talk to you about the intel on the Hampstead children, because I absolutely do not believe that they're not in danger.